Naruto, God-level system author, Blue Water God. Chapter 146, Madara Uchiha seeks a kaleidoscope of calculations. The girls were so excited that they didn't sleep all night, but Xiangchen slept soundly. In the next few days, Xiangchen used the time-freezing technique on Mikoto, Kushina and Xiaonan one after another, which also made Xiangchen a little tired. Every time he uses time freeze, Xiangchen takes at least half a day to recover his pupil power and chakra. The chakras of the third and sixth tails are also in hand. Where are we going now? Tsunade asked. Let's stay in the country of water first. I also need to study the chakra of the tailed beast, Xiangchen said after thinking about it. Okay, I'll listen to you. The girls nodded without objection. After that, Xiangchen temporarily settled in the country of water. Every day, in addition to studying the tailed beast chakra, he was laughing and playing with the girls, and he lived a happy life. Why did you come back? Madara Uchiha frowned, looking at the whirlpool 12 that came back earlier than him. Sir Madara, where will I go if I don't come back? You don't want me, right? Uzumaki looked at Madara Uchiha pitifully. Madara Uchiha ignored him and sat in front of the outside golem. A pipe was connected to Madara Uchiha's body to deliver vitality to him and repair his injuries. The physical injury is easy to deal with, but the key is the mental injury, which gives Madara Uchiha a headache. He has no good way to quickly repair the mental injury, and can only recover slowly. Lord Madara looks very embarrassed. Could it be that Xiangchen bullied you after he got the tailed beast? Uzumaki asked indifferently, not seeing Uchiha Madara's darker face. Lord Madara, what about your fan and sickle? Why are they gone? Wasn't it taken by Xiangchen? Here, me. Get out. Madara Uchiha roared in a low voice. The whirlpool was stunned for a moment, and then disappeared in front of Uchiha Madara at the fastest speed, for fear of the angry Uchiha Madara tearing him apart. It seems that he was really bullied by Xiangchen, otherwise, where would such a big resentment come from? After running far away, Maelstrom wiped a hand of Han who didn't exist and said. After Uzumaki left for a long time, Madara Uchiha calmed down and asked in a low voice, Bleach, what happened to the thing I asked you to investigate? Reporting, madam, it has been found out. Now there are two geniuses in the Uchiha family, who are most likely to open the kaleidoscope. Bleach immediately reported to Uchiha Madara. Who? Madara Uchiha asked impatiently. He is not in a good mood now, and his temper is very grumpy. Seeing that Madara Uchiha was impatient, Bleach didn't dare to procrastinate. One of them is Uchiha Fuyu, the son of the Uchiha patriarch. He is already a three-god jade writing wheel at a young age. He is a well-known genius of the Uchiha family and is recognized as the next patriarch. The other is Ken Uchiha, a former classmate of Xiangchen. This person is the grandson of the great elder Uchiha. Now he is a three-god jade writing wheel, and he is the most powerful competitor for the next patriarch. Madara Uchiha nodded after hearing this, then closed his eyes and said nothing. Since leaving the land of water, he has asked Bleach to investigate the situation of the Uchiha family, who is most likely to awaken the kaleidoscope shaker. Uchiha Madara doesn't want to use the three-goose jade writing wheel. If he wants to change a pair of kaleidoscope writing wheel eyes, he must find a few potential eye-opening people from the Uchiha family. Find a way to create civil strife in the Uchiha family, and let the elder Uchiha die in the hands of the current patriarch of Uchiha. If Ken Uchiha opens the kaleidoscope because of this, he will bring his eyes back. If not, bring him back. After thinking about it for a while, Uchiha Madara decided to attack Uchiha Ken. Bleach looked embarrassed when he heard it. It was okay for him to investigate intelligence, but he was really powerless. How could Bleach's strength start the civil unrest in the Uchiha family? If this is caught, the leg will not be broken. Looking at the look on Bleach's face, Uchiha Madara said lightly, isn't this still a vortex? But Mr. Madara, after the Uzumaki casts out the wood escape, the combat power is also the elite jonin. Isn't it not good to use the wood escape in the Konoha? Bleach asked worriedly. Madara Uchiha frowned. He found that he didn't even have anyone in his hands to carry out the mission. Although Bleach was good at inquiring about information, his combat power was pitiful. And although one of Bleach's clones, Uzumaki, has strong combat power, Madara Uchiha doesn't want Mudun to be exposed under Konoha's eyes. Konoha has a special feeling for Mudun. If the vortex must expose Mudun under Konoha's nose, Konoha's ninja will definitely track it down to the end. This did no good to Madara, and even accidentally exposed his whereabouts, affecting his Moon Eye plan. After thinking for a long time, Madara Uchiha said lightly, go to Xiangchen and ask him for help. Sir Ban, will Xiangchen help us? Although they have reached a cooperation with Xiangchen, but with Xiangchen's attitude, will they kill them? This is a big question mark. You just go and inform him. It's his business whether he agrees or not. Bleach nodded and agreed, and sent Bleach's clone to deliver the news. Lord Madara, What if Xiangchen refuses? If he refuses, I will do it myself, Madara Uchiha said firmly. Now that the reincarnation eye pupils that store the seal have been exhausted, the 3-goose jade writing wheel eye can't meet his needs at all, and he must get a pair of kaleidoscope writing wheel eyes. Also keep an eye on the ninja world. I need 267 suitable to execute the plan, Madara Uchiha ordered again. He definitely wouldn't count on the unreliable Xiangchen to complete the plan. He had to find a chess piece to help him fill in the loopholes in the plan, and finally resurrect him. Understood, Madam Madara. I will pay attention to the ninja world and screen out suitable pieces. After thinking about it, Madara Uchiha said, if possible, it is best to choose someone from the Uchiha family. Madara Uchiha is the person who knows the Uchiha family best, and it is easier to control when someone from the Uchiha family is chosen as a chess piece. Investigate the Hyuga clan. It's best to get me a few corpses of the Hinata clan ninjas and white A's, and by the way, check the information on Tenseikan. Uchiha Madara's eyes flashed fiercely, and he instructed Bleach. He and Xiangchen are now collaborators, but they are actually enemies, and Xiangchen is Uchiha Madara's biggest enemy. Madara Uchiha knew that he and Xiangchen would eventually have a battle, and that battle was estimated to be a life and death battle, so he must know the information about Tenseikan. He doesn't know anything about Tenseikan now, and Xiangchen seems to be clear about Samsara Eye. Now Uchiha Madara is very passive, and he must understand the ability of Tenseikan. The corners of Beiju's mouth were bitter, the top opened his mouth, and the bottom broke his legs. Chapter 147, Xiangchen's Calculation. Uchiha Madara asked you to come? Xiangchen, who was sitting on the beach fishing, said indifferently. Lord Ban asked me to come. Lord Ban wants to ask Lord Chen for help. Beiju said respectfully. There is something that Uchiha Madara can't solve by himself, and I need my help. Xiangchen, who had not caught a fish for a long time, said a little irritably. Beiju quickly explained Uchiha Madara's plan to Xiangchen. Because Madam Madara is still recovering from his injuries, and Maelstrom was not strong enough, I can only ask you to help, Sir Chen. Sure enough, I'm still not suitable for fishing. Xiangchen threw the fishing rod into the sea angrily when he saw that the fish hadn't been hooked for a long time. Go back and tell Ban, since we are collaborators, I will help with this. Xiangchen agreed with a smile. Beiju was stunned for a moment, and then said overjoyedly, then I will thank Lord Chen in place of Lord Banana. It's just a trivial matter, you should leave first. Xiangchen waved Beiju away. Back in the hut built not far away, Tsunade came over and said curiously, I saw that white monster just now. Is Madara Uchiha looking for you? That's right, Madara Uchiha wants to make a pair of kaleidoscopes, and now he's asking for my help. Xiangchen said everything without concealment. Kushina raised her brows and asked, you wouldn't agree, would you? Yes, I promise. Xiangchen nodded. Are you really going to help him get the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye? This is to fund the enemy. Mikoto frowned slightly. Don't worry, Mikoto, a pair of kaleidoscope writing wheels can't handle any big storms, and it's a kaleidoscope writing wheel that passed through my hands. But the kaleidoscope writing wheel pupil technique is also very unbelievable, such as my kaleidoscope writing wheel pupil technique. Please don't be too arrogant. Mikoto is right, Chen. You can't rely on your own strength to underestimate the world. There are countless strange techniques in the ninja world, and you will be caught accidentally. Tsunade reminded solemnly. Look at this sealing technique. Xiangchen took out a ninjutsu scroll and handed it to Tsunade, Kushina and the others. Soul binding can bind a person's soul, and it can never be solved at the 6th level. Duke Sinai's mouth widened, shocked. I'm going to give Madam Ban a taste of my newly developed sealing technique, so as to save him from harassing me in the future. I'll try to trick him first. Xiangchen said with a wicked smile. After being hit with the soul-binding curse seal, as long as there is any unfavorable idea in the mind of the caster or the people around the caster, the soul will suffer 1,000 cuts, and even cause the soul to collapse in the end. This is the sealing technique that Xiangchen knew that Uchiha Madara had many tricks, so he specially created it for Uchiha Madara. Originally, I was still thinking about how to put the sealing technique on Uchiha Madara, but now Uchiha Madara has sent the opportunity to the door. Suddenly sad for Madara Uchiha. Poor Uchiha Madara. Tsunade and Kushina held a moment of silence for Madara Uchiha. If they were hit by the sealing technique of soul binding, it would be equivalent to wearing a pair of chains. Brother, are you going to Konoha? Xiaonan asked. No, don't I still have 2 puppets in my hand? I can just dispatch one of them. I don't need to go by myself. Xiangchen gently stroked Xiaonan's soft hair. Aren't you going in person? Why do I need to do this kind of trivial matter in person? Isn't that a waste of time? Xiangchen shook his head and said, Chen, can you control the puppet from that distance? Mikoto asked. I've played against San Ninja for so long, and I've never heard of someone who can control a puppet over such a long distance. Tsunade shook his head and said, then it's time for you to see what a real puppet manipulation is. How can the scum puppet master of Sandian village be compared to me who has Tensei eyes? Xiangchen said proudly. With his ability to manipulate puppets with Tensian, he was fully qualified to look down on Sand Shinobi, not just one person, but their entire village. The total number of puppet masters in the entire Xian village is not as many as the puppet masters controlled by Xiangchen alone. You're not a puppet at all, you just control a dead corpse. What kind of puppet is that? Kushina complained. Why isn't it a puppet? Which one are you going to send? Tsunade was more curious about which Xiangchen would send. Needless to say, of course it's Uchiha Kingching. It's too good for Otsutsuki Hamura to be dispatched. Sun Xiangchen released Uchiha Kingching's body, and then controlled Uchiha Kingching's body to leave the country of water. Brother, do you still want to practice today? Xiaonan asked Xiangchen with slightly expectant gaze. Xiangchen smiled slightly, and then said, I'll stop cultivating. I'll accompany you to the beach to play. Okay? Really? That's great. Xiaonan was very excited to hear that Xiangchen could play with him. What fun is there at the seaside? Why don't we explore the forest? By the way, let's observe this island. I have lived here for more than 10 days, and I haven't surveyed the island well yet. Kushina suggested. Tsunade, Mikoto, and Conan immediately agreed with Kushina's proposal. Okay, in the future, this island will be ours. It's good to explore the specific situation of this island. Xiangchen nodded and said, this is a deserted island in the land of water. There are many such deserted islands. After Xiangchen and the others came to this island, they directly took it as their own. When they came to the forest on the island, Kushina backed away. Let's go back. The trees on this island are messy and there's nothing to see at all. It's really ugly. This is our future residence, and we should decorate it well. Xiangchen nodded and said, after all, this island is a deserted island with no people at all. How can you expect this island to be beautiful? I think it's better to just tear it down and rebuild it. Super Shinra Tanzing. Before waiting for a few women to say anything, Xiangchen directly shot and razed the island to the ground. Looking at the bare island, Tsunade and the others were sluggish for a while, and then began to crusade against Xiangchen. Chen, look at what you've done. This bare appearance is even more ugly. Don't worry, I will give you back the most beautiful island soon. Xiangchen comforted the girls aloud, and then entered the Tensagan chakra mode. Yin and Yang escape creation of all things. As Xiangchen's voice fell, endless vitality erupted, the trees grew wildly, the green grass and flowers bloomed, the butterflies kept flying, all kinds of animals were constantly created, and then they fled in panic. Soon trees, flowers, and grass spread everywhere, and a luxurious villa appeared near the seaside. Tsunade and the others were stunned. Chapter 148 and Tsunade. This is the Yin and Yang escape, the Yin and Yang escape that can create all things? Tsunade opened his mouth and said in shock. In the past, Xiangchen also told them that Yin and Yang escape can create all things and create things out of nothing, but at that time they just smiled and didn't speak. At that time, they must not believe it in their hearts, because the creation of all things is too far-fetched, and they can't believe it. Now that they see Xiangchen using Yin and Yang to escape to create flowers, plants, trees, and various small animals on the entire island, they believe it. If you have mastered the Yin and Yang escape, you are a god, right? Kushina asked. It depends on what the definition of God is in your heart. According to the eyes of ordinary people, this is indeed God. Xiangchen said softly. Then I also have to learn Yin Yang escape. Duke Sinai hugged Xiangchen's arm excitedly. Feeling the soft touch on his arm, Xiangchen showed a relieved expression. He looked at the front of Duke Sinai's ksa, bulging, so that Xiangchen's entire arm fell into it, and a touch of whiteness could be seen along the collar. It's so big, so soft and so white. I didn't expect Duke Sinai to develop so well. I couldn't see it before. Xiangchen muttered in his heart. What is your big bad guy? The big wolf? Xinai 960 screamed, immediately let go of the day, and looked at him. Cough. You can learn Yin Yang escape, but not everyone can fully grasp it. If you want to create all things, you must at least be at the 6th level. Xiangchen forcibly changed the subject, otherwise Kushina would go mad in embarrassment. Chen, have you entered the 6th level? Mikoto asked curiously. It's not that easy. I rely on Tensai's chakra mode to perfectly use Yin Yang escape. Xiangchen shook his head and said, that brother is also the most powerful. Xiaonan looked up at Xiangchen with admiration. In Xiaonan's heart, Xiangchen was undoubtedly the strongest, the first light in her heart, and her favorite person. Xiaonan, why is your face so red? Could it be that you are sick? Seeing Xiaonan's blushing face, Mikoto reached out and touched Xiaonan's forehead, and asked worriedly. No, I'm not sick, Sister Mikoto, I'm fine. Xiaonan waved his hands hastily. Let's go. I'll show you guys around this island. Xiangchen stretched out his hand and took Xiaonan's hand, walking in the front. The scenery on the island is very beautiful, and everything was created according to Xiangchen's thoughts, so the trees and flowers on the island are unique and different from those in other areas. The small animals on the island are very cute, so Tsunade and a few girls love them. Seeing the girls who are chasing and making trouble and leaking the spring light, Xiangchen was feasted, especially Tsunade, who almost dazzled Xiangchen's eyes. After watching for a while, Xiangchen's blood boiled. No matter how he diverted his attention, he couldn't reduce the flame in his heart. The fire must be extinguished, or the body will explode. After some addiction, Xiangchen, who was getting more and more uncomfortable, couldn't help it. It was just too tempting. Is the island I decorated beautiful? You should reward me. Xiangchen walked to Tsunade and the girls, and said with a strong smile on his face. What reward do you want? Tsunade looked at Xiangchen vigilantly, always feeling that Xiangchen's smile was a bit evil. Hey, what kind of reward do you think I want? Such an evil smile, there must be nothing good. Let's go quickly. Kushina pulled Mikoto and Xiaonan, turned around and ran. I'll go elsewhere to see the scenery. Tsunade saw that he was left alone, and walked to the left with a pretense of calm. You don't need to go anywhere else. Isn't the most beautiful scenery here? Xiangchen stretched out his arms and hugged Tsunade, and said softly. Tsunade was hugged by Xiangchen, feeling the fiery gaze of Xiangchen. His face showed a red rime, and his body suddenly fell softly into Xiangchen's arms. What are you doing? Tsunade asked, stammering, not to her original bold personality. In fact, she had already guessed it in her heart. Do you still need to ask? Of course I want you, Xiangchen said with a big smile, while holding Tsunade's two hands. He was not honest. Quick, let me go. Tsunade blushed, trying to get out of Xiangchen's arms, but he didn't use much strength, just a symbolic struggle. Feeling Tsunade twisting his body in his arms, the flames in Xiangchen's heart burned even more. Tsunade added fuel to the fire. Coupled with Tsunade's seemingly half assistance, if Xiangchen let go of her, he would be a fool. He left here with Tsunade in his arms and appeared in the villa that Xiangchen had just created. It's the first time for him and Tsunade, so it can't be done in the wild, although it is really exciting, but it also has the feeling of taking care of Tsunade. When he came to the room, Xiangchen kissed Tsunade's red lips. Tsunade didn't even struggle, he closed his eyes and enjoyed it. 10 minutes later, Xiangchen let go of Tsunade and ended the long kiss. Tsunade blushed and gasped for air. You want to suffocate me? Tsunade gave Xiangchen a blank look. Who made you so attractive, Tsunade? I can't help it. Xiangchen gently stroked Tsunade's cheek. Humphrey, I know what to say. No wonder Kushina and Mikoto like you so much, so eloquent. Tsunade snorted arrogantly. I'm telling the truth, Tsunade, you are indeed attractive. Saying that, Xiangchen reached out and squeezed Tsunade's face, which was very smooth and tender, as if he could squeeze water. You're a big bad guy, you know how to bully me. Tsunade was lying in Xiangchen's arms, hitting Xiangchen's chest with two small fists. Since Tsunade said that I'm a big bad guy, I'll show it to you. Are you ready? Xiangchen stared at Tsunade and asked seriously. Tsunade asked back, I said you will let me go if you are not ready? No. Xiangchen shook his head and said. Then why are you asking this? Tsunade said angrily. Xiangchen smiled, then reached out and threw Tsunade's hand on the soft big guang, and then rushed on like a hungry tiger rushing for food. You lighten up, the clothes are all torn. Tsunade complained, and then his mouth was blocked by Xiangchen. If it's broken, it's broken. I can create whatever clothes you want in the future. Xiangchen, who was already on fire, shredded his clothes, carried a gun and mounted his horse, without caring about any clothes or clothes. It hurts. Tsunade cried out in pain, and quickly reached out to stop Xiangchen, and gave Xiangchen a big white eye. It will definitely hurt the first time, so please bear with it, Xiangchen said in a low voice. Under Xiangchen's persuasion, Tsunade nodded with tears in his eyes. Xiangchen didn't hesitate, his body sank suddenly, and under Tsunade's painful cry, a smear of pure blood flowed down, and a plum blossom bloomed on the bedsheet, and Tsunade also completed the most important transformation in his life. Chapter 149 Experienced New Drivers. Kushina, let's go. Don't listen to it anymore, it's so embarrassing. Mikoto's cheeks were flushed with smoke, and the humming voice inside made her a bit unbearable. An unmanned girl, if there was a gap in the ground, she will definitely get in and hide. I didn't stop you, you can leave if you want. Kushina Guzuo said calmly. In fact, her situation is no better than Mikoto, her legs are tightly closed, for fear that Mikoto and Xiaonan next to her will see something different. But Kushina was thinking too much. Mikoto was not in the mood to pay attention to her now, she was too shy to extricate herself. And Xiaonan kept looking down at the ground, not raising his head at all. Mikoto wanted to cry without tears, and she wanted to run away from here, but her legs were weak and she couldn't do anything at all, especially since the constant noise from inside made her legs weaker and weaker, and she was almost unable to stand. Stable. With a dong sound, Xiaonan sat on the ground. Seeing the eyes of Mikoto and Kushina, Xiaonan was so ashamed that he almost fainted. That, Sister Mikoto, Sister Kushina, I'm a little tired from standing, I want to sit down and have a rest. Xiaonan hurriedly found a reason. It's really tiring to stand, so I'll sit down and take a break. Kushina blushed and sat down. Mikoto didn't speak, she sat shyly on the ground, and heard a louder moan coming from the room. Sister Tsunade is really not ashamed, Kushina complained when she heard it. It's all you, Duke Sanai, who insisted on eavesdropping here and brought Xiaonan here. What? Mikoto, you are shirking the responsibility. I didn't ask you to come. I called you at will, and you followed, Kushina said angrily. Mikoto smiled awkwardly. When did you say Chen and Tsunade-san finished? After a long time, Mikoto asked shyly. How do I know this? But it's been 2 hours now, it shouldn't be too long. Kushina shook her head and said. Then what should we do if brother and the others come out? Xiaonan asked. Mikoto and Kushina reacted immediately after Xiaonan's reminder. If Tsunade's sister knew that they were in a group listening to the corner, they would not kill them. Kushina made a seal and used the shunshu technique to escape, and then Mikoto and Conan also used the shunshu technique to escape. They were afraid that Tsunade would kill them if they found out. When they escaped, there was a smile on the corner of Rick Xiangchen's mouth in the room. How could they hide from Rick Xiangchen when they listened to the behavior of the corner? Tsunade didn't know that Mikoto, Kushina, and Conan were listening to the corners of the wall. Where would she have time to pay attention to them now? You, stop now. I can't do it anymore, Tsunade said weakly, sweating profusely. Her voice was a little tired, she really couldn't take it anymore. How about that? I haven't solved it yet. Rick Xiangchen not only did not stop, but the speed was even faster. Humphrey. Tsunade's humming kept ringing in the room. She was really comfortable now, but she was too comfortable, and she was about to die of comfort. Are you going to toss me to death? Tsunade exclaimed. As long as you beg for mercy, I will let you go, Rick Xiangchen said with a smile. It's impossible for me to beg for mercy. Tsunade snorted softly and said stubbornly. How could Tsunade admit defeat and beg for mercy? It's so embarrassing. Okay. As expected of Tsunade, he really has a backbone. As Rick Xiangchen said, his hands passed over Tsunade, making Tsunade's breathing even heavier, and his mouth kept making beautiful soft moans. But Tsunade does have backbone. I just didn't beg for mercy. Until half an hour later, Tsunade finally couldn't bear it anymore, and there was no such thing as backbone. Xiangchen, let go of my sister. I beg for mercy. I really can't hold it anymore. Tsunade gasped. Call me master and I'll let you go, Rick Xiangchen said with a wicked smile. What? Impossible, you little bastard. Under Rick Xiangchen's attack, Tsunade was drowned before he finished speaking. Lord, Master, please let me go. Tsunade, who couldn't bear it, could only compromise in shame and anger, but his eyes were glaring at Rick Xiangchen. Seeing that Tsunade really couldn't hold on anymore, Rick Xiangchen also stopped moving. He couldn't ignore Tsunade at all. Now Tsunade is only the first time, and it is indeed unbearable to conquer. After Xiangchen stopped, Tsunade breathed a sigh of relief, breathing in the air, as if a drowning person had finally landed. Tsunade, I'm still feeling uncomfortable. What do you think I should do? Rick Xiangchen said a little uncomfortable. How do I know what to do? I really can't do it, Tsunade said with a crying voice. Then you. Rick Xiangchen leaned into Tsunade's ear and whispered. Tsunade glared at Rick Xiangchen with shame and anger, and Rick Xiangchen actually asked her to do that. However, seeing Rick Xiangchen's extremely uncomfortable appearance, Tsunade sighed helplessly and lowered his head. There is only one word in Rick Xiangchen's mind now, that is cool. Cool is indescribable. After half an hour, Rick Xiangchen finally explained, and the flames in his heart finally subsided. Tsunade wiped the white object on his face full of shame and anger. Rick Xiangchen smiled awkwardly, then picked up Tsunade and went to the bathroom to take a mandarin duck bath. During this period, Rick Xiangchen took advantage of it and left a lot of marks on Tsunade. However, Rick Xiangchen knew that Tsunade had just gone through personnel and had endured his backlog of fire, and his body could no longer hold on, so he did not bully Tsunade too much. How do you know this kind of thing so well? Did you try it on a little girl? Tsunade asked suspiciously. Just now, Rick Xiangchen made her pose a lot. I've been with you all the time. Even if I ask a little girl to test the gun, I still have that time, Rick Xiangchen said with a chuckle. Tsunade is the first woman in his 2 lifetimes, and his experience is naturally taught by many teachers such as Kang-sensei, Bodo-sensei, etc. This was the first time he drove a vehicle himself, and I had to say that it was completely different from watching others drive and driving by himself. Yes. Tsunade nodded. Rick Xiangchen really stayed with them, and really didn't have time to hook up with others. However, you dare to ask me to call me master, let me die. Tsunade thought of what happened before, and immediately clenched his fist angrily and hit Rick Xiangchen. Rick Xiangchen dodged Tsunade's fist lightly, but Tsunade fell down because of the pain below and the limp body being tossed by Rick Xiangchen. Seeing this, Rick Xiangchen quickly reached out and hugged Tsunade. Tsunade frowned, and with just one effort, the wound below was involved. "Would you like me to help you heal?" A mass of green chakra appeared in Xiangchen's hands. "No." Tsunade refused aloud, not letting Xiangchen take the treatment. If she really wanted treatment, she could treat herself, but she didn't want to. Xiangchen looked at the stubborn Tsunade and shrugged helplessly. He couldn't understand why Tsunade didn't let him take treatment. "I can only sigh in my heart that women have needles in their hearts, and sometimes only they know what they think in their hearts, and you can't figure it out at all." Chapter 150. Why don't you try? Although Tsunade has not been treated, Tsunade also has an immortal body, and even if it recovers on its own, it will be very fast. At least there will be nothing wrong with walking now. But the walking posture is a bit weird. After a simple tidying up, Xiangchen and Tsunade opened the door and walked out to the living room. They saw Mikoto, Kushina and Xiaonan all sitting in the living room, lying on the table. Seeing Xiangchen and Tsunade coming out, the faces of the three girls showed panic, and the voice of Mimi that they had overheard just now came to their minds again. "Everyone is hungry. I'm going to cook." Mikoto glanced shyly at Xiangchen, then felt like she ran to the kitchen. "Mikoto." Xiangchen called out to Mikoto. Is there something wrong?" 6. "The kitchen is over there." Xiangchen smiled and stretched out his hand. Yes, I haven't had time to visit the house, and I still don't know where the kitchen is." Mikoto smiled awkwardly, and then went to the kitchen. Xiangchen looked at the juice drinks on the table, the corners of his mouth twitched. "You don't know where the kitchen is, so how did you get the drinks in the kitchen?" "I'll also go to the kitchen to help, otherwise Sister Mikoto must be very busy." After Xiaonan said something, she caught up with Mikoto. "Then I'll go to the kitchen, too." Kushina stared at Mikoto and Xiaonan who were running away, and wanted to go to the kitchen to hide, too embarrassed and shy. "Wait, Kushina, let's talk," Tsunade said shyly. Looking at this situation, Tsunade also knew that they knew about him and Xiangchen, and Tsunade was not surprised. For such a long time, if they didn't know, there would be ghosts, but Tsunade didn't expect them to listen to the corner. "Sister Tsunade, what are we talking about?" Kushina said, slightly embarrassed. "No, what am I embarrassed about?" "It's probably Tsunade's sister who is embarrassed." Kushina suddenly came back to her senses. "You will that know?" Tsunade asked tentatively, although he knew they knew. "Sister Tsunade, you screamed so loudly, how could we not hear you?" Tsunade looked embarrassed when he heard this, and glared at Xiangchen angrily, making Xiangchen feel very innocent. "Sister Tsunade, were you comfortable back then?" Kushina reached out and pulled Tsunade to the side, and asked in a low voice. Tsunade is extremely shy, and Kushina is true. To ask her such a question, how can she answer it? "Don't be shy." Feeling said, "Are you comfortable?" Kushina urged again, seeing Tsunade not speaking. "It's so comfortable, my mother was almost killed by him," Tsunade said sturdily. Anyway, Kushina knew it, and it was boring for her to keep it secret. This is also the reason for Tsunade's character. If Mikoto was asked such a question, she would probably shyly find a hole to burrow into. "La, right? I heard your voice full of excitement." Kushina didn't believe Tsunade's words. She knew how comfortable Tsunade was just by hearing the voice. "Haha, why don't you give it a try? I think that big pervert will be very excited," Tsunade said to Kushina, who didn't believe it. Kushina's face turned red in an instant, even though she was usually rambunctious and bold, but in this regard, she was the same as Mikoto. "I'm fine, I'm still young." Kushina's head shook like a splash drum. "Is it small?" Tsunade pinched Kushina's baby with a smirk. Kushina let out a loud cry, then opened Tsunade's hand and left angrily. The rabbit in front of her was holding her baby. "Not everyone can touch it, not even Tsunade." "Little girl is really soft," Tsunade said with a smile. "She has let go a lot now." In the past, even Tsunade's generous character would not do this. From a girl to a young woman, Tsunade has also undergone many changes. Speaking of which, Tsunade was not a girl before, she was already 25 years old, and she was already familiar with it. Soon Mikoto prepared the meal. After eating, Tsunade went to rest. She was really tired today, and Mikoto, Kushina, and Xiaonan each found a room and went to tidy up the room. Xiangchen sat on the sofa and closed his eyes comfortably. Today is definitely his coolest day. "When did you eat?" Mikoto and Kushina. Xiangchen pinched his chin and thought. As for Xiaonan is only 10 years old now, and Xiangchen is not that animal yet. "Let's talk about it when he grows up." Xiangchen gave a bad laugh. When Hyuga Tatsu was thinking about how to eat Mikoto and Kushina, Uchiha Xiangchen had already arrived at Konoha village. At this time, Uchiha Xiangchen was not controlled by Xiangchen. Because he thought it was troublesome to control the puppet, Xiangchen injected the black rod formed by yin and yang into Uchiha Xiangchen's body, which contained Xiangchen's will. In this way, Xiangchen does not have to work hard to control it, but this has many disadvantages. Now Uchiha Xiangchen is the same as a robot without intelligence and only simple programs. The combat ability is greatly reduced, and it will only fight according to the combat experience centered by Xiangchen, and will not adapt to changes at all. Very rigid. The only advantage is probably that it doesn't have to be manipulated by Xiangchen. Master Chen has arrived. Beige saw Uchiha Xiangchen and saluted respectfully. He knew that Xiangchen would not come in person, but sent a puppet, but the puppet was also controlled by humans. He thought that he was controlling Uchiha King now. The city is Xiangchen. I'm not the master, Uchiha Xiangchen said indifferently, with no emotion in his voice. Beige was stunned, and then he didn't care about that much. It was Mr. Ban's task that was more important. Now we are going to sneak into Konoha. I wonder what you can do? Beige asked Uchiha Xiangchen, but Beige was a vain question. Uchiha Xiangchen looked at Beige with empty eyes, and said lightly, I only complete the task. Then I'm attached to you. How about I take you to sneak into Konoha? I only complete the task. Uchiha Xiangchen repeated again. Beige glanced at Uchiha Xiangchen helplessly, then his body turned into flowing water, merged into Uchiha Xiangchen's body, and then sneaked into Konoha with Uchiha Xiangchen silently. After sneaking into the periphery of the Uchiha clan, Beige separated from Uchiha Xiangchen's 1.4 body, and the Vortex who had been waiting for, came over. You are here? I have been waiting here for several days. Whirlpool complained. Don't complain, it's more important to complete the mission of Madame Madara. If this is messed up, it will definitely make you unable to eat. I don't eat food, so I don't have to take it away. Huohuju said with a smile. And who is this guy? Isn't it Lord Chen? Master Chen should be busy with business, so he didn't come. This is the puppet of Master Chen, Beige explained. Is he the one from the Uchiha family with the eternal kaleidoscope shaker? Uzumaki asked in surprise. Beige kicked the whirlpool and said, don't talk too much, no one thinks you are dumb. At the same time, he glanced at Uchiha Xiangchen and found that he didn't respond, and Beige was relieved. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.